What is happening, Mr. Matsura? How you doing today, my friend?
I am doing fantastic. Luke, as you know, I am traveling, which is why we have this different format. And this is my hotel, this blurry. See, this is actually what my hotel room looks like. Uh, it's blurred. You can't really see it, but things are great. You and I, we believe that the show must go on. And so instead of just being one of those people that it was inconvenient to put this together, we decided just to do this on the road. So I'm
Right?
excited to do this. This is kind of therapy to do this, and the people that are in my world, I think they're getting a lot of value from us doing this, and it's helping them, especially in this shifting market. So how are
Right.
you?
Doing
How are
good,
things in
man.
Texas?
I I'm right there with you, dude. It's that like consistency of, consistently being consistent. You can either, make excuses or make results, but you can't do both. And um, so much of it like right now in this type of environment is, the that's where the separation is made, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean,
consistently being consistent, and that is true in everything that you do. Everything that you do, relationships, fitness, finance, business, skills. You've heard me say this with my role playing group. I always say this is that you never get good at anything without consistent practice. Because
mhm,
if you only practice one day, you're not going to get good at anything.
right.
That reminds me. You might remember this years ago. I mean, that we had to be teenagers back then. There was a milk commercial, and what happened was a bird landed on a, a brown cow, and it started dancing around on it. I don't know why I thought about this, but it started dancing around on the cow, and it was like hot chocolate. Anyone? I don't know. I have no idea why I had no idea why that just came up on. It made sense at the time. Now it makes no sense on why I brought that
That's
up.
awesome. It was worth a good laugh.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um,
we were gonna last week we had a great conversation, and as normal, we tied that into a subject we're going to talk about this day. And this is something that you taught me, and that is the social funnel. How to use your social media pages for lead generation. And so
yeah.
I think that's what we committed to talking to this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a long time since I've dug into and taught and trained on this. I almost, I'm to the point of like where I just like almost assume that everybody knows it or like they should know it by now. But obviously that's not the case because I still consistently see people, just not leveraging the tools at their disposal. We've touched on it a few times before where it's like, trying to look at your social media profiles, your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn. Obviously, LinkedIn's pretty self-explanatory. Like it's a business tool, but the rest of them, really looking at it like it's almost like a CRM, right? You have your database, you have your prospects, obviously you have your immediate friends and family connections that you've built up over time, but this is this is how to network now, right?
Yeah,
um
yeah,
and and it has all these built-in uh, tools and functionalities and things behind it. So I was actually going through some of my stuff, and I was able to pull up some resources and stuff that I used in the past to kind of help explain it in more detail. So I can pull that stuff up here, but it is um we to kind of set the frame for it, we're just kind of walking through as we're connecting with people. You are naturally, when somebody engages with you, they send you a friend request, they you comment on something, they're gonna come over and they're gonna look at your profile,
They're gonna creep you.
It's the profile stalking. You know, they click on it. You know, you make a comment somewhere here, there, whatever. You know, they're gonna come over. They're gonna look at, and what are they gonna see when they get there? Do they know you
Yes.
sell real estate? Do they, you know, do they know you're in the area? Like, what is it? So, I'm actually, I can share my screen here and walk through. It's been a couple years, so some of this stuff is old, but it's still totally relevant still to this day, which is
Well,
um, amazing because
and,
it's like stood the test of time, right?
well, and here's the thing. So I'm traveling today because yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going back home. Yesterday, I was moderating a top agent panel, and it was focused on social media. And there was 4 breakout rooms, and mine by far was it was I did it twice. I did it back to back, and
Mm-hmm.
my room was by far the one that was most attended, because when you start talking social media, when you start talking digital and such, that's really a very confusing space, I feel, for real estate professionals and mortgage professionals. I mean, if you're in sales, then this is really
Yeah.
relates to you. And what's interesting is people still are not understanding how to use social media. They don't have a digital strategy. And the way that I define a digital strategy is if you're not generating leads from it, if you're not nurturing leads into clients, if you can't track a return on investment from your activities in it, you don't have a digital strategy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that is what everybody else is doing. If you're sharing, if you're just there, just being a voyeur and watching what your friends are eating, sharing what you're eating, and
Yeah.
you're not moving that needle, then that's not a digital strategy, because by definition, a digital strategy is using technology to generate you business
Mm-hmm.
or to convert, into that business. So it's amazing. We were talking about who has an introductory agent video, and I had both classes raise their hand, and 3/4 of the room, they don't even have a video about that. But when we start talking about and you shared this with me a few years ago, um, we're now talking about modern consumer behavior.
Mm-hmm.
We know that if you comment on something, people are going to look at your profile. I find that most real estate agents, most professionals don't even have what their profession is on there, let alone what you're going to be talking about today. In addition to that, it transcends just social media. Like when I get an unidentified number and I'm in front of my computer, now I'm not going to answer it, but I'll Google the phone number and
Mm.
I'll see who it is that comes up. I don't know. I'm sure you do that too, because it comes down to modern consumer behavior.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the social funnel, but it also relates into, what are you doing to make sure that all your contact data points is searchable to show your information. If you call somebody and they Google your phone number, is Google going to index that and come up with your profile or
Right.
email, right? Right. So I think what you're going to be sharing with everyone, at least for me, if I mean, you sold this training program. This was hundreds of dollars that you were selling, that were teaching people how to do this. And for those of you that are watching this, he's decided to just walk you through this process, and you should watch this and implement this, because this is going to be an actionable item. This is something that when you're done watching this video, Luke is just going to teach you exactly what you need to do to go and do this yourself. So I wanted to give that plug into that.
Awesome. Yeah, so there's I mean, obviously there's appreciate the lead up on that. There's there's obviously subtle nuances to every type of platform that you're gonna do. I'm gonna share one that's really straightforward on Facebook, as a kind of like an add-on to this. One thing that I would really suggest and recommend as to for a lot of people is, begin to think about adding in video on top of this as a way to provide value to your audience. But I'm going to jump in. I'm going to start sharing my screen here as we go through this. And awesome. You got me there, Brett?
Yep, I can see it.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, so I'm going to jump in right now. And this is, I refer to this as a profile funnel. We're going to walk through, my personal Facebook page, and this is my personal profile. So in this one, this is not a business page. Business pages are used to run paid advertising from. So this is going to be your personal profile. So there's a big distinction there between, what we normally use on a day-to-day basis, where we're messaging our friends, and your business page. Business page is primarily pay to play. So I just kind of want to make that distinction before jumping into things. But we can leverage some of the very same principles that we may think about in a business page or a business asset in doing that.
And when you're talking about pay to play, what you're referring to is the Facebook ad network, right? You're actually paying to get an ad out in front of someone, whereas this is more of what you're going to share here is more of an organic strategy.
Exactly.
You're friending people and you're making it so it's, you and I always talk that there's two ways to get business. You either buy business or you have to buy business either through sweat equity or with dollars and cents. Yeah. This is the sweat equity part, right? Well, I guess it would work with the dollar and cents too.
And this is something that, especially for new people too, this is like foundational, right? We're laying the groundwork. We're building the foundation, putting in, the infrastructure to be able to then, when we start running advertisements and doing paid campaigns, that's the fuel that adds to the fire. And when we have some of this foundational stuff in place, it really just gives us the opportunity to amplify, our overall results there. So, some of the things that I'll touch here, we've got them obviously numbered off here. But what I want people to kind of take away from this is when somebody clicks over on your profile, they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. So the main thing that we want to do is like, why, what's in it for them? What are they going to get by connecting with you, being your friend? Like, what value are you going to be able to provide for them in their lives? So we always want to look through it through the lens of like, what's in it for me? When somebody connects with you, what are they going to get? Because that's going to be the real, the driver. And so first, I'll walk through a couple of these, and then I'm going to give some more relevant. Share some more relevant examples or things that agents and lenders can do to help bridge this gap here. So right out of the gate, we have our cover photo, this number one, and this cover photo, you can think of this as like a billboard. This is your billboard on the side of a main thoroughfare where people see all the time. What are they going to see immediately when they come over to your profile? What can we see? We have a lot of real estate here that we can advertise from. And it's, at the end of the day, it's an advertisement. It's a place where we can have stuff. They're going to see that almost immediately. And this is kind of like, I'm walking through how the eyes process when they click over on your profile. So first off, they're usually going to look at this, then they're going to come down to an intro. So they're just kind of working their way down. Number two, on the intro, we have a space here that allows us to write a little blurb about what we do. So if you're a real estate agent, you can write, hey, I'm a real estate agent. These are the neighborhoods and stuff that I work in. Like if it's not clear to the person clicking on your, like what you do. So that's where we can have, right away, share that information that they have about, what you do, If you have something of value, you can plug it in there, but just a little brief little intro there. Now, number 3, down here, this is where we can begin to connect and provide some links. So we can link out to, anywhere that we want to at this point. So if this is some sort of resource that you have, here, for example, have, Facebook groups, a landing page, but you can go out to your other social medias, you can go out to a landing page, a website, wherever you want to go, but you have the space there to plug in links to go out. And this is the same in this section here, the details. This is where we're going to have all that stuff that's going to index when people look you up. So you can plug in your phone number, your, all that good stuff there as well. Very similar
So
to what you do your business
what
page.
would be an example that you would put in there? I mean, clearly you'd put your main website page, or more specifically, maybe to a landing page. You have exclusive training for MLOs, so maybe for a lender or for a real estate agent, how to, free report, how to sell your home for top dollar, even in a shifting market, or for a buyer's agent or for a lender, free report, how to buy a home in a shifting market, something along those lines. Is that what you're talking about? Is what you would put in there as a bit of a bait?
So so I would try to in these types of situations, something fairly like universal and timeless. So probably, so some of the best things that you can do, and it's something that's always going to be relevant, is just a simple list of homes.
Okay.
So when we have, now you can do a million different variations of list of homes. So if you're a luxury agent, you can specify like, hey, get a list of home, off market properties between this price point and this price point. So generally speaking, regardless of if you're a buyer or listing agent or, buyer agent, like
Sure.
50% of sellers, buyers are existing homeowners, right? So you have that built-in listing opportunity, but majority of the time you're going to need to find them another place, to move.
And the goal here is to grow your database, right? The goal here is to get these people who are on your profile funnel and get them to opt into something, so you can start gathering their data points, growing your list so you can remarket to them further. So, and I like how here's the thing with Luke, is that he coined the term for me of taking imperfect action, and done is better than perfect. So if the list of homes, this is something that could be implemented right after this video. If you're a real estate sales professional, you have access to the MLS. For me, I live in Irvine, California, so I would do free list of homes over $1 million, free list of Irvine homes over $1 million. That's going to only attract a certain type of people that I would want to grow my list. Or Orange County, if you want to focus all of Orange County, right? I guess focus on the type of clientele that you're seeking to attract. Use the right bait.
Yeah, and in your case, I mean, you could have something a little bit more descriptive in your, like, hey, Irvine area or like the school district, but at the same time, you can cast a little bit wider of a net where it's, Orange County homes. I mean, most people are going to want to, statistically speaking, 85% of people are going to move within a 15-mile radius of where they're currently at. So in your particular case, somebody might be moving from Costa Mesa to Irvine, or, but so, list of Orange County homes, and I'll share this with for people to cast that net. try to, when you're doing, if you're doing a list of homes, which I recommend, it's, it's easy, timeless, but you just want to pick like the median price range and then give a range. So if that's between 300 to 500,000, get a list of homes in this area between 300 and 500,000. If your average median price in your area is 800, you can say 800 to a million, for wherever that is. But the price range there, and at a bare minimum, we're just getting an email, right?
Yeah.
And then be able to send them stuff, updates. But that's a really, really easy way. You don't have to create anything. You don't have to have a PDF. You don't have to create a report. It's just a list of homes, and that's what people want at the end of the day. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Agents are, if there's somebody, if one agent has the absolute ideal dream home, and you're not, and they say, hey, I'm not going to be, I can't sell you that home, but this agent will, they're going to go with that other agent, that's going to sell them their dream home.
Yeah.
So
And for me, if I was, I would never focus solely on the list of homes. And I think it's important that this message is going to change, but the list of homes is something that you can take action now, that if you're a full-time real estate agent, you have access to your MLS, so you can do that. Yeah. I would personally, if I were going to do this and I was in production again, I would focus on a free report specific that would attract a seller.
Yeah.
And that's what's the beauty of this, is that this is like fishing. The type of bait you use is going to be the type of fish that you're going to catch. So get very, very clear on the type of client that you're looking for. Engage whatever this, for lack of a better term, bait. Gauge what this bait is going to be so that you attract what you're trying to get. If you don't want to work with buyers, don't do a free list of homes. If you don't want to, if you want to attract sellers, do something that a seller would be attracted to. Free neighborhood report, something like that.
Yeah. And that's a perfect example. Whatever you're putting out there is what you're going to attract.
Yeah.
So
if you put out general stuff, you're going to get a general response.
Yeah. So, I share the list of homes strategy to essentially reduce the barrier, so anybody can go out. They don't have to think about anything or create anything. They can go out and post, and get something out there. But yeah, if you and that can be, it's the imperfect action, progress over perfection, where you can refine that over time and gauge your results. So we got our links there. Then we come down to number 4, featured photo. Featured photo is going to be next in line as people are scrolling through it. They click on your profile, and again, this is going to be on mobile, right? So this is how the eyes are flowing when somebody clicks over on mobile. They get you get cover photo, intro, the links, then the featured photo. The featured photo, a lot of times too, and this is, in this example, I have like a specific, call to action coming up. But from like agents and stuff, you can do, testimonies. You can do, just screenshots of specific, reports on people. You could put a lot of different stuff in there, but this is going to be generally try to have some sort of like proof or value or something else additionally in there, because that's exactly where it's going to go. So call to action, and we don't have to overcomplicate that, but that is the flow of the progress from where your eyes go. And then finally, after that, we get into your actual timeline. And this is where what most people would generally think about, like, okay, your profile, it's like your pictures of your family, your friends, all that good stuff that you would normally post. but this is where and this is where you can continue to engage and follow up and nurture your prospects. You can see here on this, there's, have friends. You have 5,000 friends that you can connect with. So these are 5,000 prospects. And this is your timeline is where you effectively nurture people over time with that know, like, and trust, where you build them up. And then, there's obviously more features and stuff depending on the platform. You got your stories, you got your reels, you got your things like that. But this concept is the same. This is where you're sharing those updates, you're sharing stuff to be able to stay in front of people, stay top of mind on an ongoing basis once they've, accepted your friend request and connected there.
So Luke, what do you say to those agents, LOs? What do you say to those who have, they use social media, they use it for only the friends that they have real friends for, and they're like, you know what? I don't put my business stuff on here. I don't want what do you say to those agents that are like secret agents when it comes to their personal, because we're talking about a personal profile, not a business, not their business page. But what do you say to those people that are just doing that?
I mean, my approach in that conversation that that I'll have with people is like, you can choose not to, but somebody else is. And you can either be that person or not be that person, but most likely the business is going to go to the person who is.
Yeah.
And
see, for me, it's just that's just what it is.
It's just the changing of the times. I mean, it is what it is. You can choose to do it or not, but
as real estate professionals, and that goes for people in the mortgage industry. I long time ago, I accepted the fact that there's no such thing for me. Same thing that I teach on, that there is no such thing as work-life balance. You cannot segment work and then turn it off and then turn on personal life. So I've just merged it all together. I believe that it's foolish. I don't, if it wasn't for business, if it wasn't for nurturing relationships, I would have no interest in actually any type of social media. Now, I enjoy it. I enjoy learning what people do for a living. I enjoy, watching that. And I think that for those who choose not to put what they, even when you meet a person for real life, one of the first questions that happens, what do you do for a living?
Right.
And, that converts into digital. And I think that for those who are being a secret agent, both on the lending side and the real estate side, if they're not doing this, then they're missing out. They're missing the train. It's not saturated by any means, but by not doing this, they're eliminating those interactions that occur online, which, as we continue to grow as a society, I think we've determined that the internet's no longer a fad. I think that's been proven 10 times over. I think technology is going to be more ingrained into our society moving forward as the generations continue to get older and the younger begin to get older too. They're already on social media and such. So we need to adapt for the times. So if you're planning on being in business, unless you're planning on retiring soon, just keep doing what you're doing. But if you're focusing, if you still have, like us, we still have a good 20 some odd plus years of being in the business, you need to, I would say that it's foolish not to do what you're suggesting.
Yeah. And there's a lot of times it's like, can you build a big business not doing this? Yes, you can, but like there's and I think for a lot of people, particularly real estate agents, like there's so much built into your local market, building a brand, building that sphere of influence because you're in that geographical location. Lenders can probably get away with it a little bit more, but then but what in their situation, like if you're not taking this type of approach, it's a call center approach, right? You're buying leads, you're building a machine, you're making your phone calls. So there's, there is that option for lenders, but you're in those situations like you're buying tons of leads or you're generating your own leads and you're effectively a call center,
Yeah.
at that point in time.
Yeah. And they're, now I know that there's somebody watching this and they're building out the funnel and they're like, then what? And one of the things that you shared with me, now I think it should go to a landing page. I think that they should fill out a form and index it, but it's as simple as give them instructions. If they want the free report, DM you, direct message you, right? It's built into the platform to do that. And then one of the things that you shared with me at the same time is the way that you get eyeballs on that is you go and find these local groups, these Facebook groups, and you go in there and you don't post, you go in there and comment. Because when somebody comments, that person who made the post or if you commented on a comment or you posted on a comment, they're going to see that. And human behavior says that most of them are going to go, before they respond again, they're going to click on your profile and they're going to see you. So that's how you get and that's where the sweat equity comes in, is that they're going to come, they're going to creep your profile, they're going to see what you're about, and then you're going to have that advertising message, free whatever offer you're going to do. And that's how you're going to organically grow this. And you know what the nice thing is, we've known each other a long time. I've gotten to see you do this, and you were getting business out of this. This is a strategy that you use that, why did we stop doing that? I mean, it kind of goes into it. Something's working and then you stop doing it. It does take time. You have to go in there. You have to be part of the group. You have to allocate some time to do that. But there's a lot of local, I live in Irvine. There's a lot of local groups in Irvine that you can go in. People ask questions about HOAs and what's going on with this, that, and the other. You make a comment, they go and creep your profile. They may or may not want to friend or go beyond you, but a percentage of them are going to like you, follow you, get on your list, and you're going to grow your database like that.
Yeah.
So,
so I want to, emphasize some of the things that you said because they're super duper valuable. Like you don't have to have a landing page or a funnel or something. This simple DM, the communication mechanism right there is already built in. Shoot me a DM or drop me a DM. So that is a great way to, and there's no friction there too, right? So it's very natural. Shoot me a friend request or, send me a DM. And that's great. But to building up, so we have our profile funnel built. Now, what do we do with it, right? Connecting with people in your local market, those local Facebook groups like you're touching on, joining some, and obviously there's, when we do that, we begin to deploy this, so you can have like local, if you're a parent, school groups, local niche groups, maybe you're into like bicycling or something where you're a part of that, something that's like relevant and topical to you, where it's not like extra, right? You're not just there to like drum up business, but it's like, hey, I'm here because I like this. I like cycling. I like exercising on the beach or whatever, or like, I like whatever it is. Like there's something like that in your local immediate market that you can tap into. And then that's where you can come in and you can make these comments, you can respond to people, you can like people's comments. And that naturally will begin to create this, these eyeballs over onto your page. And in addition to that too, we have sending out, when you're engaging with people and people are engaging with you, you see people in these groups, just sending them friend requests. Like this is a prospecting method, like an outbound prospecting. So you have this like local moms group or whatever that you're in, connect with them, hey, I like this person, what this person's saying, connection. So you can send typically on average about 50 new friend requests a day. So as a local agent, you can build up 250 new prospects on a weekly basis of people in your local market doing this. Not everybody's going to, accept your friend request, but guess what? When you send them a friend request, they're going to go look at your profile. They're going to be like, hey, who's this Brett guy? Oh, he's an agent in my area. Let me check him out. Okay. Hey, he's got some cool content. He just shared about the best 5, unknown taco shops in Santa Ana, right? I love tacos. Maybe I'll follow
And
this
they're great
guy.
in Santa Ana.
Maybe I'll follow this guy. He's
Well,
got.
the interesting with what you're saying there is they may not accept your friend request, but they're going to creep it. And if you have an offer on there, if you have bait on there that would be intriguing to them, while they may not accept your friend request, they may still get onto your list because the offer you're making. Look, if someone's looking to buy or sell in our current market and you have something compelling that they want, A, they probably will accept your friend request, but B, if they don't, or if they do, they still may get on your list because they may DM you, they may take you up on the offer.
Yeah.
But it also has to be unique content too. So if every agent in your market started doing this same thing and offered the same thing, you're going to dilute the effectiveness on it. So, use something very genuine and unique, create something of value to do that, right?
A lot of people too, it's just like whether or not they resonate with you individually, right? Even if you have the same content as somebody else, it's like, hey, like I vibe a lot more with Brett than so and so else. Like I'm gonna, even though they're saying the same thing or doing the same thing, like I like him, like I just resonate with him better.
So the nice thing is with the profile funnel too, it's very subtle. You're not selling, right? You're going there, you're commenting on somebody else's post, commenting on somebody else's comment on somebody else's post.
Right.
They're creeping your site, and now it's just very it's subtle in a fact that you're not cold calling, outbound cold outreach. You're not doing that.
Yeah.
You're just saying something on them, and they're creeping you. We're just, for lack of a better term, we're just weaponizing modern consumer behavior. We know what the path is, what most people are going to do when you do something.
Yeah.
Right? We're playing chess. You do this is what they're going to do. And they're either going to accept your friend request, they're either going to creep you, or it's going to go vice versa. And it's amazing. I think everyone should do this to some degree. If if you do nothing what we talk about, at least put your profession in your profile.
Yeah.
At least let them know what you do in your introduction. Maybe have where you work. At least do that. But after you do that, change your banner, go to Fiverr.com, go to Upwork, have somebody design something for you. Get that up there, follow Luke's advice, and then just go start inviting people to be your friend.
Totally.
And posting on things. You dropped some value nuggets today. Like I said, I know that you used to sell this course a few years ago. And I know that people are still in your group that you work with that are still utilizing this. It still works today. It's not saturated. And people should do this.
Yeah. Highly recommend, leveraging all of your platforms. There's obviously, if there's always going to be evolving, but this is foundational type of stuff. We're obviously seeing a huge rise in video and value, and that's such another great way of like building authority and stuff too. But if that's if that's too much of a hurdle for a lot of people, you can still, I mean, there's still
Yeah.
tons of ways of, building up and having building this base in there. So
Well, you got to start somewhere, right?
yeah,
You got to start somewhere, because if all you're using social media for, if you're in anything in the real estate profession, and all you're using social media for is just to watch, you're losing out on a tremendous amount of opportunity. So that reminds me, there was a member of my panel yesterday. He does $400 million a year in production.
hmm,
He's in the San Francisco area, focuses on condos north of 5 million, and the Russian Hill, that crooked
yeah,
street in San Francisco. That's his special. He takes the most listing. He's the one that everybody wants to be. He told me, number one, he doesn't answer his phone. He doesn't. He definitely doesn't answer unidentified calls. And his communication, he communicates on WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, text message.
hmm,
Those are his primary sources of communication.
yeah.
And if he's doing that much business in a very exclusive, very luxury price point, then if it works for him, it will work for everybody else too.
Yeah.
So isn't that
I mean,
crazy?
that's
You and I
just
would you and I would never even think about this 25 years ago. What? No cold calling? What? You don't answer your phone?
no
Never
phones.
would we think that. But you have to evolve with the time.
Yeah.
You gotta go with it. Was it? Roll the punches.
Oh, punches.
Oh, and there's a lot of punches coming up. Did you see yesterday that the 10-year treasury, for the first time since 2008, was like 4.08,
Yeah.
and just going up. So that means we are now officially in a seven handle for, it's not fluctuating. It's now a seven handle on the 30-year mortgage. So
Yeah,
everyone's got to start adapting, man.
that's quite the I actually um took a screenshot of the 10-year yesterday and sent it to my wife, and I was like, how much do you like our 1.875 rate we refied to the yeah.
1.875. You've never
Yeah.
want to pay off that loan. Why would you
I
ever
got
want
a
to pay off
one.
that loan?
I locked in one of those
You
one.
got a one handle. Wow.
Yeah.
On a 30? You locked in a one handle on a 30?
Yeah, I went to 15, but
Still
um
one handle on
yeah.
a 15. It was either a one handle on a 15 or a two or three handle on a on
My
a on a 30.
I'm a huge fan of debt, smart debt. My wife hates it. So try to get that happy medium for
I've always said that I do not have the risk tolerance that you have. So
yeah.
I would probably be more in line with Jennifer,
Yeah.
um, just because of risk tolerance. I couldn't sit next to you at a blackjack table. I would. I know that. I
Yeah.
know that. So, we ought to talk about that next week. We ought to talk about, um, I'm so ingrained on the real estate side. You're so ingrained on the mortgage side. The effects of the economy is affecting everyone. Why don't we come up with, why don't we start talking next week about how people should be armoring up to generate those leads, to generate, history has proven that homes will sell. People
Yeah.
will buy, people will sell in an up and down market. It's life will go on. Is it going to, and let's just talk about, let's say, I think people are by nature optimistic. But why don't we talk about the 8,000-pound gorilla in the room? What happens if, let's say, the market does shift by 50%? What does happen when prices start to drop? What does happen? What if? How do they generate leads? How do they convert that? Because I think it's fair to say that it's a real probability. It's a real possibility that can happen. And if you're not having the conversation, if you're not preparing for it, and it does become very, back like when the Great Recession, if you're not somewhat positioned for it, at least knowing what you could do, maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, we're here now, right? where the
Who
market's
wouldn't?
at. So it's we're
So,
there.
so I
Like
looked at the
it's
numbers.
it's pretty much there. It's just
Yeah.
we're, yeah. So
So the 30-year mortgage, January of 2022, was 3.2%. The 30-year mortgage, as of the Freddie Mac primary mortgage market survey, the history of it, it was like 6.8. So it's doubled on $1 million loan amount. That is $2,000 in increased payment on $1 million for every $1 million, which means if when we're at a 7 handle on a mortgage on $1 million note, either the rates have to come back down to a 3 handle, right, for affordability, or prices are going to have to adjust nearly 40% to equal the same payment as what it was in January.
right.
Wrap your head around that one. Rising interest rate, there's downward pressure on jobs, income, and wages. Car loans are going in default. Credit cards are going into default. I mean, to me, the writing's on the wall. What happens? Okay, to your point, we're there. What should you be doing? Because the things that happened in an up market in the last 10 years are not going to translate 100% into a modern market. You still need to generate leads, still need to convert those leads, you still need to do business, because like I always say, my bills still come due monthly. And what are we going to do? I think that'll be a good topic. It might be a controversial topic but who cares? I mean, people are going to follow us and watch us because they follow us and watch us. People who don't like us won't. And I'm okay with that.
Beautiful. All right, my
All right,
friend.
good talk.
Sounds
That's what we'll
good.
do. That's what we're going to do. I like it.
Do it. All
Rock and
right.
roll. See you guys next week.